Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events taking place on the African scene. And we'll start off with our major top stories and reports. The activities of the 7th edition of Cairo Water Week kicked off on Sunday under the theme Water and Climate Building Resilient Communities. This year's Cairo Water Week coincides with the Africa Water Week and the Africa Hydrological Conference, which serves as a valuable opportunity to engage in in-depth deliberations on critical water issues in the continent. More details.
The 7th edition of the Cairo Water Week was held under the theme of Water and Climate Building Resilient Communities. At the opening session, Sisi gave a speech saying this annual event has evolved into a renewed international platform dedicated to fostering the exchange of knowledge and expertise, nurturing business growth, strengthening scientific research, and stimulating innovation within the realm of water resource management. He said there is determination to convene this timely gathering despite the current formidable global challenges, given the critical importance of addressing such pressing issues like water management and resource development, notably in light of the escalating crisis of water scarcity due to both natural and man-made causes and elements. He said there is also an urgent need to discuss large-scale projects designed to leverage shared transitional rivers without adequate research and considerations for the absolute need to safeguard the safety and sustainability of international water resources in line with international water law, which mandates prior notification, information sharing and consultations. He said it also stipulates conducting the requisite studies and ensuring the fulfillment of fundamental human needs while avoiding any detrimental consequences. Convening this year's Cairo Water Week coincides with the Africa Water Week and the Africa Hydrological Conference, which serves as a valuable opportunity to engage in in-depth deliberations on critical water issues in the continent. Sisi called on the international community to urgently bolster its support for African states' endeavors in water resources management and to provide essential funding and technology for projects and programs that seek to enhance water security, spur development and foster peace in the African continent.
Welcome back, and to shed more light on this topic, we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Soa'dad Shalaby, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Good afternoon, Ambassador Soa'dad.
Good afternoon.
Ambassador Shalaby, how different is this year's edition of Cairo Water Week from previous editions, given new circumstances on the international stage?
Well, you know, global challenges are facing and all the others in the world, makes it more difficult to discuss the water crisis which is facing many countries. It is natural disaster and drought weather, or it is man-made the problems, limited access to water. So here it is critical because the water issue is important countries, not only, and also Egypt is have the leadership of the African ministers on water. Is Egypt is there. This is a commitment to seek to regional collaboration on water and to strengthen the member states toward the water-related targets for sustainable development goals.
Ambassador Shalaby, the 7th edition of Cairo Water Week is held under the theme Water and Climate Building Resilient Communities. Now, how would you like to elaborate on the term building resilient communities?
Water and climate intertwined, both affect the same community for bad. So it is important the theme about water and climate building resilient communities, because it is important to discuss all the problems that are facing the communities regarding the water crisis, food crisis, and climate problems that are affecting the food and the water.
Yes.
So it is important to link those two together, water and climate.
Indeed. Ambassador Shalaby, how important is it to build resilient communities to face water scarcity and climate change repercussions?
Well, as you know, that water is fundamental human right, and it is one of the important targets for any government to provide clean water for its citizens.
Yes.
And those communities who are facing water scarcity are, of course, suffering a lot because of the difficulties in irrigation, in providing water for agricultural needs and for industrial needs. That is why it is linked with development issues.
Mm-hmm. How is climate change impacting the Black continent's economic and social status?
Of course, Africa is suffering from water security, from food security, and it is affecting the development goals, whether it is the sustainable development goals or the agenda for development. So it is important to face the climate problem, especially the dry weather, especially the flooding of waters. And of course, for Egypt, it's important the Nile water. Egyptian citizens, it is linking life and survival of Egyptian people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, and as you know, the Nile is the principal source for water.
Indeed.
110 million population of Egypt, and it is 98% of Egypt's water supply. So it is determinant for the African continent, whether it is Sudan, Egypt, or Ethiopia.
Yes.
To have sustainable water resources during the flooding time.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
And this is the water event that is taking place is discussing all these problems. The management of water, management of the water resources in Africa and around the world.
Mm-hmm. Ambassador Shalaby, President Sisi said the event aims to nurture business growth, strengthen scientific research, and stimulate innovation within the realm of water resources management. Now, how do you see solutions to water scarcity is still within reach?
In this conference, they are going to discuss funding and implementing a range of water projects. This includes well drilling, waterway clearing, establishing drain prediction centers, port rehabilitation, and rainwater harvesting dams. So all this is the technology that is needed for management of water, and also for water, and also for climate. So both development targets are going to be discussed, and the technology and the innovation is going to be very.
Well, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you so much, Ambassador Soa'dad Shalaby, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Many thanks for your insight. And moving on to our next report, Minister of Irrigation gave a speech before the opening session of the 7th edition of Cairo Water Week. He said the event has attracted 30 international organizations and hosts an exhibition of water solutions and challenges.
Minister of Irrigation Hani Suelem, who is also head of the African Ministers' Council on Water, said that Cairo Water Week is an exceptional opportunity that gathers brotherly nations on Egypt, the land of the Nile. He was speaking at the opening session of the 7th edition of Cairo Water Week on Sunday, which also coincides with the 9th edition of the Africa Water Week. He said the Cairo Water Week has attracted 30 international organizations and hosts an exhibition for water solutions and challenges. He said Egypt has exerted a lot of efforts to manage water efficiency and to face water scarcity through mega national projects and irrigation mechanisms and employing technologies that manage groundwater. He also said Egypt is committed to guidelines of international law with regards to cross-border rivers and is keen to cement ties with Nile Basin countries. He said Egypt is implementing a number of various developmental projects in Nile Basin states.
And moving on to Sudan, the Egyptian-Sudanese Permanent Joint Technical Commission for Nile Waters was held in Cairo on the 11th and 12th of October. A statement by the Commission called for restoring the integrity of the 1999 Nile Basin Initiative.
Egypt and Sudan urged Nile Basin states to restore integrity of the 1999 Nile Basin Initiative. They also called for refraining from unilateral actions that could exacerbate divisions between upstream and downstream countries. This came in a statement issued by the Egyptian-Sudanese Permanent Joint Technical Commission for Nile Waters (PJTC), following a crucial two-day meeting on October 11 to 12 in Cairo, which discussed key water-related issues and concerns within the Nile Basin, including recent developments related to the recent ratification of the Cooperative Framework Agreement (CFA) by some Nile Basin states. The Nile Basin Initiative (NBI) was formally launched in February 1999 by the water ministers of 9 countries that share the river: Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Eritrea as observer. The NBI aims to achieve sustainable socio-economic development through the equitable utilization of the common Nile Basin water resources. During the meeting, PJTC emphasized that Egypt and Sudan have made concerted efforts over the years to restore cohesion and bridge divisions caused by the adoption of the non-consensual CFA draft by several upstream states. According to the PJTC, the 2010 CFA draft lacks the necessary consensus and fails to adhere to established international law principles and best practices which promote sustainable development and cooperation.
And that wraps up this edition of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.